In this world, we are all given different abilities. Some people are good at one thing, while others excel in another. And then there are those who are talented in everything. But despite our differences, we all have one thing in common: our life experiences. We all experience similar emotions like happiness, anger, sadness, and fear. And these emotions can be the driving force behind who we become. The boy in today's story was very afraid of one thing: riding a bike. But with the help of his friends, he learned to overcome his fear. So let's dive into the story without further ado. Once upon a time, in a small town nestled amidst rolling hills and lush greenery, there lived a young boy named Alex. Alex was a bright and inquisitive kid who loved playing with his friends in the open fields near his house. They would spend hours building sand castles, playing hide and seek, or just running around with infectious laughter echoing through the air. But there was one activity that Alex dreaded: riding a bike. It all started when his friends began bringing their bikes to the park. At first, Alex had been fascinated by the colorful bicycles and the freedom they represented. He would stand and watch his friends zoom around, their faces lit up with joy as they navigated the winding paths. But as the days went by, a strange feeling began to take over Alex, a sense of fear. It started subtly, a knot of unease in his stomach, whenever he saw the other kids riding. But soon it grew into something more, a paralyzing terror that kept him rooted to the spot. He didn't understand why the mere sight of a bicycle could send shivers down his spine. He tried to convince himself that there was nothing to be afraid of, but the fear remained. It wasn't just the bike itself that frightened him. It was what the bike symbolized: a challenge, a test of courage that he felt ill-equipped to face. One sunny afternoon, Alex's friends decided to organize a bike race around the park. They were all excited, their bikes gleaming under the bright sun, their eyes sparkling with anticipation. Alex, however, was not excited. His heart pounded in his chest, his palms were sweaty, and his legs trembled at the thought of having to ride. His friends, unaware of his turmoil, began the race, their cheerful shouts carrying through the park. Alex stood by, watching them go, his heart heavy with a mixture of longing and fear. He wanted to join them, to feel the wind in his hair and the sun on his face as he raced alongside his friends. But the fear was too strong, anchoring him to the ground, making it impossible for him to move. The race ended with cheers and high fives. Alex's friends returned, their faces flushed with exertion and triumph. When they saw Alex standing alone, they stopped. "Why didn't you participate?" one of them asked, tilting his head in confusion. Alex looked down at his feet, unable to meet their gaze. I don't know," he whispered, his voice shaking. His friends exchanged glances, their expressions shifting from confusion to concern. They had always seen Alex as a brave and enthusiastic boy. This sudden display of fear was perplexing to them. They tried to coax him into joining them, but their efforts were met with a resolute shake of his head and a quiet, "No, I don't want to." Seeing their friend so distraught, Alex's heart ached. They couldn't understand why he was afraid, but that didn't stop them from caring. From that day on, they made sure to include Alex in their games in other ways, ensuring he never felt left out. They shared their snacks with him, told him jokes to make him laugh, and listened patiently when he needed someone to talk to. But Alex still wished he could ride a bike with his friends. He wanted to feel the sense of camaraderie, the thrill of the ride, and most of all, he wanted to conquer his fear. With newfound determination, Alex's friends rallied around him, forming a circle of support that was unwavering. They helped him choose a bike that was just his size, one that he felt comfortable on. It was a vibrant red color with training wheels, and it seemed to Alex like the most beautiful bike in the world. On the day he got the bike, his friends were there. They cheered, they clapped, and they even helped him put on his helmet. Alex, his heart swelling with gratitude, knew he couldn't let them down. With trembling hands, he mounted the seat, his legs gripping the pedals. His friends, sensing his apprehension, formed a line, each taking a position at an interval, ready to lend a hand or a word of encouragement. And so began Alex's first lesson in courage. He started slowly, moving the bike forward with his feet, his hands firm on the handlebars. His friends, true to their promise, were there to support him. If he stumbled, they were there to catch him. If he fell, they were there to help him up. If he hesitated, they were there to encourage him. And as the days went by, something remarkable happened. Alex's fear began to diminish, replaced by a growing sense of accomplishment. Each successful pedal stroke was a victory, a testament to his bravery. He was no longer the boy who froze with terror at the sight of a bicycle. He was becoming a young man who was learning to ride, to balance, to steer. There were, of course, falls. There were times when the ground rushed to meet him and the taste of dirt filled his mouth. But each time he fell, he dusted himself off, his eyes fixed on the horizon. He would get back on the bike, his resolve strengthened by the knowledge that he had already overcome worse. Finally, the day arrived when Alex rode his bike without training wheels. It was a day like any other, the sun shining brightly, birds singing merrily, and the wind whispering tales of adventure. But for Alex, it was extraordinary. He felt a surge of pride, a sense of freedom, and above all, a deep-seated satisfaction. He looked back at his friends, their faces beaming with pride and joy. In that moment, he realized that his journey was not just about learning to ride a bike. It was about learning to face his fears, to overcome challenges, and to never, ever give up. As the years passed, the story of Alex and his friends became a legend in their town. It was a tale that was told and retold, each retelling adding a layer of admiration and respect for the young boy who had conquered his fears. Alex, now a confident young man, often reminisced about that time. He looked back at his younger self with a mixture of amusement and pride. He remembered the fear, the uncertainty, the falls, but mostly he remembered the support, the encouragement, and the triumph. The story of Alex serves as a reminder for all of us that fear is a universal emotion. It doesn't matter who you are, what you have achieved, or what lies ahead. Fear is something we all encounter. However, it is our response to fear that truly defines us. Do we let fear paralyze us? Do we succumb to it, or do we rise above it? Alex chose to rise above it. He chose to confront his fear, and in doing so, he not only learned to ride a bike, but also gained a valuable life lesson. The friends in Alex's story are a testament to the power of friendship. They stood by Alex, not because they understood his fear, but because they cared for him. They didn't judge him, they didn't mock him, they supported him. True friendship is about being there for your friends through their triumphs and failures, through their laughter and tears. And Alex's friends embodied this perfectly. So, the next time you find yourself in a situation that scares you, remember Alex. Remember that fear is just an emotion, a feeling that can be overcome. Remember that you are stronger than your fear. And remember that true friends will be there to support you every step of the way.